Being in the used auto part industry, I tend to look at my projects a little bit differently. When a normal person needs parts for their car, they go out and buy those parts. But for me, I go look for an entire car that has everything I need. And this serves two purposes. Number one, this cuts the cost of my projects down tremendously, a ton. Because now I have an entire car to part out and recover what I paid for the car and probably make some money on it. And two, I have all the little fasteners, nuts, and hardware, things that can get destroyed or lost in an accident. And now I have everything because I have an entire car. Another reason is I have a roadmap. Pulling one car apart, I know exactly how it needs to go back together. And now I've got an entire parts car. I bought this 92 Corvette out of Pennsylvania. It had an engine fire, but I think the hood was up during the fire. Most of the damage is condensed to the cowl and dash area. Now, this was expensive for a parts car. For some reason, every single white C4, late C4 that I chased that had a good front end, I had to pay good money for, and I lost a lot of them. This is the first one I just closed my eyes and kept bidding, and I paid more for this car than I did for my nice car. But I'll still be able to recover a lot. It's a 6-speed car, so there's a lot of money there. It's got a nicer rear end in it that sells really well. It's got some aftermarket wheels, and there's a lot of other good parts on this car. But there's one problem. I can't get the hood open, and I think the hood release cable is burned. This is going to be fun. This is the reason why I think the hood was up. You can see the fender definitely has some fire damage, but the hood right above it has none. I think the hood was up. Fire was in this region, and hopefully the bottom of the hood is not too terrible, or at least it's only terrible in parts that I can replace with parts off of my damaged hood. I have no idea how I'm going to get this open. I haven't even opened the passenger door yet on this car. Let me just rip this. The inside of this car, it leaves a lot to be desired. Why did I even try that? Ugh. I can definitely see that there's a bunch of melted stuff. Front of the carpet's all melted. The chance of me getting this car running is pretty much zero, sadly. I would like to know how many miles are on it, so I may be able to save some of that information out of the cluster. But most of this interior looks like it either has fire damage or it was sprayed with a fire extinguisher or lots of water. I don't know how much I'll be able to recover from this. Hopefully some parts survived. Here you can see the amount of damage at the cowl. I have no idea how I'm going to be able to get this open. This is going to be great. Great. It does look like this side is free. Yep. It's out of the latch, but that side, that is not. That also means that pulling the release cable is not really going to do anything. That's kind of a bummer. This is, I don't know how we're going to attempt this, but we are. I'm still going to pull this. And there's no resistance whatsoever. Okay. It was worth a shot. Well, I might get lucky here. Is that cable, that's the hood release cable for the right side latch. So I'm going to get my long needle nose pliers here, and I'm going to see if we can just pull on it, see if we get lucky. I don't really want to tear up the hood. Oh, now I got it out all the way here. Yes. Oh man, that's heavy. All right. Yeah, that ain't running again. Oh boy. Well, I was really hoping for some, long tube headers, a supercharger, 383, something crazy, but it actually looks just like a stock. I think it's just a stock LT1, which is fine. That's perfectly fine too. Looks like it's got stock intake. And I don't see any aftermarket parts other than plug wires. So it might have had an Opti. Let's look. Let's see here. Well, the timing cover's definitely been off. It's painted black. And the water pump's red. I would think you'd paint a water pump, you know, blue for water. Yeah, it burned the wiring almost up to the computer. I hope that computer is going to be okay. That's a really expensive one. I'll have to test that in one of my other cars to verify it's good. How I opened this is I took my duckbill pliers and I just rotated it, which shortened the distance. Just took all the slack out of this and pulled on this latch, which released it. Thank God. The very first thing I'm going to do is remove the computer. I need to get this out of here and unplugged. Computer looks relatively unaffected by the fire, so that's good. And 4. Well, no corrosion. Terminals look good. That's a nice, expensive piece. Now, it looks like, as standard protocol, the fire department cut the ground cable, which is okay. Looks like there's 2 grounds cut. We're just gonna... We got power. It's not on fire again. Let's see if we got enough to light up the dash. This is not gonna work. I know it's not gonna work. I'm ready for this to just catch on fire at any moment. It's got some dash lights I can barely read. Door ajar. I just want to see miles, which are like here. Let me see if I can work on that a little bit. I just want to know miles on this car. That's it. Obviously, I'm not going to get it to run. That's the headlights. Look at that. That's great. Okay, we're going to try to connect this up again. God, I hope this thing doesn't catch on fire again. I don't think this is going to work. I bet you there's some melted wires that are keeping this from happening. I just may not know. No oil change sticker. Let's stop playing with fire. See what I did there? And just give up on that. Now it's time to take a brief look at my car to see what I need to pull off of the parts car. It looks like right off the bat I need an inner fender on the right, but thankfully, unlike the C5 and later, that just unbolts. And I definitely need a radiator and an AC condenser, but unfortunately, 94 up is different than 92, 93. This cover is the same, air cleaner, I'll steal that. And then it's just bumper and hood. I'm going to pull those complete. There might be some small stuff, but this should be pretty easy to get this thing ready. The first thing we're going to remove is the hood, and I haven't really figured out how I'm going to do this by myself. I didn't really think about this, but I have forklifts and straps, so we might make something work. Let's get this disconnected. This should be pretty simple. It looks like I just have 4 13mm bolts on each side. And it also looks like this thing's had headlight motors gone through, so that's kind of nice. My plan is just to take this entire hood and bolt it on my car once everything's off of my car. That'll be the last thing that goes together. I don't really know what some of this stuff is. We'll figure it out. So this is my terrible idea. I got my forklift here. 2 straps that go around the front. I got towels in place so no paint damage will happen. This hood isn't that heavy. It's just bigger than I can hold it. So I've got straps going on both sides here. And I'm going to use the ratchet straps to take a little tension off of it. We're going to take the bolts out. We'll take the hood stay out. We'll see if we can just lift this off ever so gently. All right, first, let's get this. Now we'll take the hood stay out and see if the hood stays. You know. It stays. Now we need to get the 8 13mm bolts out. Let me get my power ratchet. Go to the other side. There's actually 5 bolts per side, not 4. We've got one more on this side. Let's see what this does here. Okay, not too bad. All the bolts are out on that side. Now we need to get the bolts out on the passenger side. Okay, all of the bolts are out. Let's see, is this side loose? Yes, it is. This is either going to work great or terribly. Okay, I'm a little nervous. I am as surprised as you guys are. The sad thing is, I'm not going to be able to set it on the car like this. I'll have to have two people. But, alright, enough talking. I'm going to get this thing set down. You know, I got to drive with this. Now what? See, I didn't think this far. I should have. Got no slack. Nothing's going to tie me up here. Let's just do this. I am totally puckered right now. Come on, guys, it's gonna be fine. Okay, this should be fine. Now, how am I going to get it there? Yeah, this is gonna work. See, it's gonna work. It's working already. Yes! Definitely easier with two people. Now I'm gonna take a minute and zip tie these shims together. I want to make sure I save them all. I'll probably need them to put this back on, or I can use the ones off the car, but the more the better. Alright, now I've got all the hardware in a box. I use these little bitty boxes, and I can write on them what's in them. They're harder to lose than a bag. It's my preferred way of saving hardware. Now we need to disconnect all of the running lights, fog lights, turn signals. This is odd here. It's a connector to nowhere. Does anybody know what this connector goes to? It doesn't really want to come out. I know this is just a parts car, but I still don't want to break anything. I might need it on the other car. You know. We'll deal with that in a second. That's a in a second problem. There we go. A little flathead will only get you so far. Let me get this pesky thing here. Okay, it appears this side is loose. Now we gotta go to the other side. Alright, well, that's disconnected. Now we need to disconnect the inner fenders. Looks like I got some T30s. Oh no, there's Torx on this side. Why were there 10s on one side and Torx on the other? Someone's been here before. Also loosey-goosey. Now we have some more along the bottom. Yes. Hold it to the inner fender. Okay, so that part of that is off. And I still have a couple of those 8s. I think they're 8s. Feels like 7s. Definitely 7s. More loosey. This is a little more challenging on this side just because I can't see where they are. There's more stuff jammed down here in the corner. Well, it's getting kind of there. Now, before I go too much further, I'm going to get this air cleaner out of the way. Oh, that just does that. Okay. Well, that was easy. Looks like a stock throttle body. Got some junk in there. All right, now I need to get this piece out. Okay, well, let's just start zipping some bolts out. Pan's loose. That's not loose. What else holds this thing in? I bet there's stuff on the bottom. Cool. I thought that might leak, and it doesn't, so that's great. I don't think that helps me. It did not help me. Yep, I've got some 7mm bolts, and then the secondary air pump is in the way, so we're going to have to get that out of the way. It's all doable, though. Okay, now this is the intake for the secondary air. So let's just get this. Oh no, what is it? Oh, there's a connector on here. Right here. Delete it. When in doubt, just delete it. That one was tough. Is that better? Oh, that's the trick. Oopsies, dropped it. Yes, now we can get this out. That's in the way.
And that's in the way.
Now I've already made sure that this has no Freon in it. So now it's time to get these fittings loose. I do need a lot of these AC lines, but unfortunately this is a R12 and the lines and the condenser are different because my car is 134. I'm actually glad my car is 134, but I also don't have parts for it. So I'll have to source those. Just gonna bend that out of the way a little. Make this a little bit easier. Okay, that was how it happens. Now we're going to try to pull the bumper. Got a couple 13s on each side. Well, I just have these two lower 13mm bolts, and this bumper should come off. Oh, these are tight. Those are real tight. I need my regular ratchet for that. Okay, that should be it. This bumper should come right off. What is still holding this? Well, there's still a center support. I missed one. It is just an 8. That's it. And by just an 8, I mean just a 7. Okay, now the bumper should come right off. Now it's time to get this inner fender. We'll get the coolant bottle out of the way and pull the inner fender. Unfortunately, there's one more part I need to pull off this, and it doesn't bolt on. It's this front bumper support. There's some spot welds on both sides. We're just going to drill them out, and I can pull this piece off. I'll weld it onto my car and get mine torn down. I've got the spot welds drilled, so I should be able to get this off. Yeah, get this stuff off of here first. Lastly, I need to get the fans out. I'm not really sure how, but oh, they are apparently attached to the. Oh, okay. Well, we can do this way. Here's the condenser. This can just swing aside, and then the fans. I've got to unplug these dudes. One. Come on. Two. Nope. Let's pull this harness around the other side here. It looks like I just have a 10 in the horn. Right, now that won't be a problem. Perfect. Pulling this car apart went silky smooth. It really was easy. It would have been a little easier if I had a second set of hands, but a forklift would suffice. It's just not the same thing. Now, I don't have everything I need to put my car back together because this car has a different refrigerant system. This is a R12 refrigerant system, being a 92, and my car is a 95, so it has 134A. And some of the components are not the same, like the condenser and the lines. So I'll likely have to source those somewhere else. Now, I could also use the radiator from this car, but I kind of have a thing with using used radiators that are old. I'll just buy a new one. They're not very expensive. Aside from that, I may keep the exhaust off of it, but I'm done with this, and it's time to recoup some money. So if you guys want to buy any parts off of this car, I think it's got low miles. I'll likely plug the BCM into another car to read the miles off of this. It's a 6-speed car, has a good rear end, all the other good stuff. Just don't count on anything from this area. I'm going to leave our email in the video description. You can also go to importapart.com and peruse our inventory. I've been uploading our complete parts cars in the blog, and if you don't see what you're looking for, you can also send us a part request form, which sends us an email of what you're chasing. As always, I love all the comments, all the feedback, and even the criticism. I love it all, and I'll catch you on the next update.